Very good question. I think probably you have to do two things in tandem. One is that you have to read and get to know, sort of build up your content, as it were. But the other one is, I think, right from the beginning, particularly if you want to approach from this more understanding perspective rather than from the ritual chanting approach, is to really learn to be with your mind. And initially, it's probably better to keep it short, 5-10 minutes a morning, and just and do it without any particular agenda. Just kind of in some sense, kind of allowing yourself just to be with yourself, with your mind, and let's see what happens kind of approach. And you might want to start by doing some kind of deep breathing, because breathing is something that we naturally do and we don't need to make any efforts. But by consciously breathing, in a sense, you are bringing your mind to that breathing experience. And so that's why breathing technique is so powerful in collecting your mind. Because if you're just completely scattered and then try to close your eyes and focus on something, it's not going to work. But if you start by something physical, like a deep breathing, immediately kind of slows down the energy. And then once you have done that, and then just observe, just your breath, or just be there, and don't expect anything. And this is hard. That's why it needs to be very short at the beginning, 5 minutes. And then, you could do this, and then even in the 5 minutes, you take lots of breaks. Okay? And once you get a little taste of what, a sense of comfort of being with your own mind, then gradually you will be able to build up. Because otherwise, if you just simply learn how to focus right from the beginning, it's tough. Because somehow you need to have some experiential taste of what it means to just hold your mind. And that is a tougher part. So you need to do that along with the content side. So if you're doing mind training practice, you read about mind training. And also, like mind training, one of the practices is lojong, the Tonglen practice. Tonglen practice is quite simple. You breathe in suffering, you give out all your happiness and joys to someone else. And initially, it makes sense to choose a concrete object, not just abstract idea of all beings. Say, sort of, if you see an image of, these days, there are powerful images of, tragic images of children suffering in the war zone in the Middle East. You can just visually focus on, one or two of these children or some of these children, and imagine what it must feel like to be constantly under that kind of fear and threat, and take their fear and offer them your strength and courage. And you can do that. So you can choose a specific practice, whether it's Tonglen or whether it is just for immeasurables. But initially, you need to stick with it and do it repeatedly. Because the Tibetan word for meditation is gom. Gom means to cultivate familiarity. There's a kind of a repetitiveness that is part of the whole meditation practice. So it needs to, but first you need to have some ability to just be with your mind. And that is the tougher one, because especially when you're first beginning, because it's very difficult for particularly people who are brought up in the Western world, because our mind is very active and we are very good with doing things. So to ask not to do anything, it's actually quite tough. Even when you are on vacation, you're supposed to be resting. You always want to do something, in the West, we're very good at relaxing by distracting, but we're not good at relaxing by just being, And this is where the meditation is helpful. So, but initially, it requires a lot of effort. But effort, not exertion, but effort in the sense of persistence. So and therefore it's helpful just to keep the sessions short.